Now, do you see why I put that down there? Do you see why I had a bucket here? Do you see why I had my 5-gallon bucket, my other bucket, so I can clean all the stuff and so that I could have a place to rinse out, to use my wire brush, or use my toothbrush. I put that back over there. Got a nice little work area here. Cleaned it all up. I'm ready for the next step. I've got this all taken care of and all that kind of stuff. You know, I like working in a clean place. I've still got a clean floor. I should have pulled that out a little bit longer, so where I had the bucket, because trust me, even this water, you get just a little bit of this water off your sponge or having a drip, and you get it on white carpet, it's a pain to get clean. Trust me on that. Okay? So now I'm getting ready for the next step. Do you remember what it is? Now this part, it's going to be kind of hard for me to show you what I'm doing underneath there, but I'll try. But you see, before I put this on, I cleaned out this with the threads and stuff with my wire brush. I made sure that this little washer was cleaned off. This was cleaned off. This is cleaned off. And before I do anything, I got to get underneath there where the threads are on the piece. I have to shove that through, and I got to put Teflon tape on there. You got to remember, when you put Teflon tape on, I can't really show you this first one because it's way back there. I'll show you on when I do this. When I do this adjustable P-trap, okay? And but when I'm under there for that other thing, you've got to put it on in the same direction that this nut's going to go, okay? So the nut is tightening to the right, okay? Just remember that. It's tightening to the right. So when I put the Teflon tape on there, and I have to look at it and look at it upside down and remember which way I want to put this, because does it matter which direction it goes on the threads? Yeah, because if you put it on the wrong way as you're trying to tighten it on the threads, it's going to start kinking because it's backing up on the threads because you didn't put this Teflon tape on in the right direction. Do you see what I mean? Well, when you put this on, do I want to put it on so it goes to the left, so that at the end of it, when I cut it off, that last piece is going to be wrapped that way? No, because that's the wrong direction, because I'm tightening it to the right. Do you see what I mean? So when I put this on, I have to put it on starting from over here and going this direction, so that when I cut this off, when I pull it off, my last little bit of Teflon tape on the threads is pulled off that way. So when I put it on the threads and wrap it on the threads, it's going in the same direction as I'm going to take this nut and put it on there. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I have to do with these too. When I put it on, it's going to go this way. Okay, I'll show you there in a minute. You just stick with me. And so once I put these the Teflon tape on there, it's going to be kind of tricky because I'm upside down and it's tedious, and I got to make sure that I don't get any of the Teflon tape beyond the threads and in the way of my washer, okay? Because if I do, I could have a little piece of Teflon tape preventing my washer to go up in there, preventing this from going on exactly where I want it. Does that make sense? So you just have to kind of be careful. And by the way, they have two sizes, two widths of Teflon tape. I don't know. I think they might even have one wider than this. They might have 3 different widths. I usually just get the standard stuff. And then if there's more threads, I just wrap it around there a little bit more. But make sure as you put it on, you're nice and careful. You don't want to get any creases on it as you're putting it on. You know, remember this stuff, because it's like, what difference does it make? I'm just going to wrap it on there, and then this stuff goes on and it gets folded over itself, and it gets kinked, or it goes like that, and you keep wrapping it. Is that going to hold anything? Not as well as if you got it like that, and then you put a few spins of that around the threads. I'll probably put 2 or 3 layers, and because this is a brass fitting and there's a little bit more room and stuff, I might put, 3 or 4 spins of Teflon tape around there, a little more so than I would if this was a plastic nut and plastic threads. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get under there and put that on, and I'll get right back to you for us to put this back there, fish that back there, and put that up there and all that kind of stuff. And I'll make a quick little video of that, but you know, I think you got the idea of what I'm doing now. I hope you do. Okay, so for the first thing, I'm going to just put this back up there. I don't know exactly where it goes just yet, mind you, but if I can kind of squeeze back in there, it might be easier than without having that plunger in front of me. You see what I mean? Okay. So I'm just gonna have that right like that. I'm tightening it up, just hand tight. Okay, just so it's up there. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna take my plunger, and I've got the little washer pushed up there. And I'm gonna put it on. In fact, maybe I should put the washer back in there so it's flat. Actually, it should be fine wherever it fits, right? Okay, now because I got the Teflon tape on there, you got to be real careful when you start putting it on so that you don't cross-thread it, especially if this is plastic threads and plastic female threads. Last thing you want, or even they have some other ones that aren't brass that I've done before, that the threads are even smaller, and if you're not paying attention and you're not holding your mouth just right, you might cross-thread it, thinking, okay, I got it, I'll just tighten it up with a pair of pliers. And you start tightening it, and your pliers don't go anymore, and this thing's still not tight because you cross-threaded it. Once you cross-thread it, good luck with trying to fix it as you're backing it off, because you may have to replace your whole drain strainer, you know, from up above. Okay. All right, so I'm just tightening this up, you know, by hand right now. I'll tighten it a little bit more with my pliers, but I don't want to do that just yet. I'm just gonna do it snug. And you remember, we're gonna get it on the second one. Okay, so I got my little V clip. And I got to remember how I want to do this. I think this goes on here first, like that. Yeah, okay. Then I put this on. See, you can't really see that. That's why I showed it to you before. Now I've got to slide that back, bend it as far as I can, get it on there. There, I got it. And see about where I think this needs to be. They could have almost made that a little longer or something. And see, there was an offset on this riser piece, and I could have flipped it all the way around, but then have this closer this way, but then the nut would hit the back of here, and I'd have a hard time. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. And before I do anything, we're gonna get back up there, and I've got to see what happens about pulling this up back and forth. And I see there's a, good Lord, there's a valve. There's a valve up there. Whereas, let's see here. Okay, there's a valve, the water valve that from the main one that goes down. So I'm adjusting the through rod so that when I pull it up, and that goes up all the way, I've got to push this up all the way. Okay. Boy. Oh, okay. I got to think about that for a minute. I got to get back up here and try to mimic how I want this thing. When it pushes down, okay, that's going to be all the way. That's going to be all the way down. Right there. You just kind of have to think about it. It doesn't really matter too much per se because I'm not hooking up the pop-up valve. But I still want it to work properly. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's just think about this here for a minute and see if I can get this any better. Okay, right like that. Let's try that. I'm just tightening that by hand because it's a little thumb turn, but I may have to tighten it with my pliers after the fact. And then I'll put that there, and then I'll pull down. See, no matter what I do, this is not going to go down all the way unless it's popped in there. Okay, but that's okay. And that's just how it's going to live. See how much more gap I got there? She's going to be fine with that. That'll give her more room. You see? There's way more room there that way. And so I think that's going to be fine where I have it. And I'm just going to take my little crescent wrench. I always seem to find a need for this little crescent wrench. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's okay. It's hitting something up there, but because it's not hooked up properly, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just not going to worry about it. And then I'm just going to tighten it. You just want it just a little bit. Don't do too much. You'll break it off. Trust me. Because like I said, I've done it before, and I don't need that. Even if I had it hooked up properly, I wouldn't need it any more than that. Okay. And so that's just where it's going to be. Okay. Like that. And then I can set it like that. I can just do that, and I'll explain it to Momi, and I think she'll be fine with it. If she wants me to hook it up, you know what I'm going to have to do. Then I'm going to have to get back in there and pull that rod back out and do all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then clean out the cabinet, take the doors off, do everything else. I'm not even going to call her. I'm not going to call her and ask her or anything like that. I'm just going to do it. Okay? And so on this, how tight should I tighten that? Well, I'm just going to make it kind of snug, but then I'm going to move this with my hand to see how hard or how easy that is. And it's a little tight there, but like I say, I don't think she's really going to use that much. I'm going to leave it right like that, and I'm going to go up there and see how easy this, how hard or how easy this is to push up and down. See, it's a little stiff. But I don't mind it, And I might have to do that. See, if she wants it up high, I can keep that pushed down. If she wants that a little bit lower, I can pull this up, and this will flop down, and we can re-angle it or whatever. See, if it goes down too far, it's not going to drain right. You see what I'm saying? So we'll be able to get a happy medium, and I honestly don't think she's ever going to want to fill that up with water. If she's really adamant about saying she washes certain lingerie things in here, and puts a cleaner on there, and needs to do that, then okay, so be it. Or maybe she can do it in another bathroom. We've got another bathroom. Hey, couldn't you do it in the other bathroom, or something like that, and not use this one, so that we can know that this one will always be working fine? You know, we'll work something out. Okay. All right. So that's how I'm going to do that. Okay. I hope you learned something on that. All right. So what are we going to talk about next? Have any ideas?